Hi everybody, this is the demo for blueberry buttercream. So this is an American style buttercream. We made this on week 5, if you remember, we just used it for practice for piping. So even while that one is delicious just on its own, now we're gonna change this up to make a fruit-based buttercream. So I still have my butter, really soft. It's really important for this one because we have so much liquid coming in that butter needs to be at a soft room temperature. So I actually left my butter out just overnight so I can make sure that I didn't even have to mess with it today, and it would be the consistency and the texture that I need. Also, I have my sugar, just granulated sugar, and then when we originally made this, we used evaporated milk. Instead, we're going to use pureed blueberries. So these I already thawed, and then I actually warmed them up in the microwave a little bit to get them to be room temperature, so not cold at all. That's going to be really important when we're adding them to our creamed mixture of butter and sugar. If the blueberry puree is cold, it's going to start to set up that butter, and we're going to end up with a buttercream that can actually start to break. We are trying to create an emulsion here with the addition of this liquid, so I need to make sure that none of my ingredients are too cold. It takes a lot of problem solving after all the ingredients are incorporated together, if things are too cold, to get that emulsion to come back together. So you can put your IQF blueberries are great because they produce a lot of liquid as they are thawing, so this is really ideal for pureeing. Of course, yes, you can use fresh, but your texture may be off a little bit. And remember that fresh blueberries, the sugar content varies wildly depending on what season is and when they were picked. So IQF is much more consistent for these purposes. And it's also usually cheaper to buy frozen than it is fresh. So you can put these in a food processor, you can put them in a blender, you can use an immersion blender if that's what you have, and there will still be some texture. I think you guys can see that on the side here, but you want to get those blueberries broken down as small as you possibly can, so that these small bits of texture are very minor, no big chunks at all. So just turn on the blender, turn on the food processor, just let it run. You don't have to strain this. These small little dark bits of like the skin are gonna make a really beautiful finished buttercream. I'm gonna start with getting my softened butter in the bowl. And then my granulated sugar. I'm going to start mixing this on low speed to get this combined, and then I will be turning this up to medium speed until this is really light and fluffy. I need to get a lot of air incorporated in here so that there is space available to take in all this liquid. 2.5 minutes. I had it on number 6 on my KitchenAid mixer. I am using a beater blade attachment, which is really nice because it actually will scrape the bowl while this is mixing. So if you don't have that, you may need to scrape down occasionally during this initial creaming process, so you make sure and you get everything mixing at the same time. And you can see this paled in color. It really got some nice volume, so that's exactly what we are looking for. So now I'm going to start adding my blueberry puree. When I am adding this, I'm still going to be running on medium speed, and I'm going to add my blueberry puree in about 7 increments. So, and just like when we are forming an emulsion, when we're mixing a cake batter, you want to be adding this liquid inclusion gradually, and you need to make sure that each addition is fully incorporated before you add the next. If you try to rush through this too quickly, it'll start to get that sloppy appearance where you have the fat and then you have the liquid and they're just sort of slipping and sliding around each other. Okay, so now this is done. This has a really beautiful color from those blueberries. This is such a great recipe for making a fruit-based buttercream. So you could use other similar fruits, IQF fruits like raspberries or strawberries. You could use pineapple, just adding the same weight of fruit in the same way. I did notice that I had to go down to about speed 4, and I added my blueberry puree in way more than 7 increments. It was kind of flying out, and it was a lot easier to get it to take in when I had that on the slightly lower speed, so I wasn't mixing as quite a high a speed as when I was initially creaming together my sugar and my butter, and it came together really nicely. This buttercream is ready to be used for our cake, or if you need to save it for later, you can also store this in the refrigerator. When you're ready to use it, you just need to get it back to room temperature and paddle it again just to get it nice and creamy and light again, to make sure that it's this beautiful consistency for frosting your cake. So you can see how nice that is on there. So still nice and stiff. This is pipeable. This is spreadable with your spatula. So this is ready to go for my blueberry cake.